This is Dan Dix here, reporting for Press for Truth. California as its own country? Well, this is one of the top trending hashtags on Twitter right now, and it's actually making its way into the corporate state media. Leftists up and down the West Coast are horrified right now at a Trump presidency, and this is even before it has started. Protests are erupting in cities all across the Blue Nation. And it's not just California, but New York as well. We've got hashtags like Not My President and West Coast Nation, which are far from racists, but can you imagine if this is how the Republicans behaved back when Obama was reelected in 2012? In fact, 6 petitions calling for secession did make the rounds back then. They garnered enough support that the Obama administration was forced to respond, and he ended up calling it unconstitutional. So why was secession when Obama was president considered wrong-headed and appropriate, but not Calexit? At least the so-called racists waited for Obama's second term. So you're telling me that burning American flags and Trump effigies is considered cool and calculated and rational? Okay. Well, I, for one, fully support this idea, even though I don't really think Trump will end up letting them leave. And besides, he's not going to differ much from the status quo. After all, the military-industrial complex isn't going anywhere. And even though the people who are wanting to separate right now are doing it all for the wrong reasons, I can't help but support the idea of decentralization. I mean, this is how we're going to take our freedoms back. This is precisely what promotes liberty. It just doesn't make sense for a single city, Washington, D.C., to rule over 318 million people. Will California secede from the Union? Well, I hope so. If a Trump presidency is the equivalent to America's Brexit, then I hope that California makes this West Coast nation a reality. Even though they'd be throwing themselves right back into the crosshairs of globalist power, that's just a battle that they're going to have to figure out for themselves. So I wish them all the best, and I hope that they'll end up adopting free markets, or they'll just end up rejoining the American Union. But all in all, I really think it's mostly just a bunch of hot air. It's really just a bunch of disgruntled social justice warriors who can't even comprehend a Trump presidency. So once the fire settles down here and the masses go back to watching their sports and popping pills, I think these so-called, quote, tolerant liberals are going to realize that in 4 years from now, they're going to have their chance to take back the White House. And, these statists would much rather see a large kingdom that stretches from coast to coast than a tiny little sliver on the continent. A sovereign power without the U.S. dollar's reserve currency status wouldn't be able to finance their socialism. The place would just end up looking like Venezuela in a matter of months. So, Calexit, keep your fingers crossed, folks, but I wouldn't hold my breath. But either way, we're going to be covering it here for you because the lamestream media sucks at doing their job, and we're going to be trying to do it better. And the reason why we even exist is because of you. Just $10 a month or $5 a month or even just a couple bucks a month goes a long way in helping me to expose this corruption for what it is. So don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. And stay tuned, guys. We've got more videos coming soon. This is Dan Dix reporting for Press for Truth.